All that money and power, is it bumps to the powder? Who's the one that's in power? In the coming of hours, even sons is devoured. Don't run like no coward, yeah, the summer is ours.
What's up, world? It's your boy.
We loud and the blunts with the sour. The
The
hood is off, the fangs is out, the hood is
out
off.
here in NDSTRY Studios with Lil Haiti.
How y'all feeling?
What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Great.
First off, I want to say, it was a pleasure getting to know you and meeting you out here in the studio. You know, from day one, I just always seen that, you was on it. You know, you was creative. You had your own mind on how you want to do things. You was daring to be different. Just listening to your beats and everything like that. And then I could tell you were passionate. You know what I'm saying? You're a teacher. Just different things I was learning about you. And, just the other day seeing you, make that speech the other day about, making sure we're not standing behind, losing in the digital race. I just thought it was a great conversation that the family needed to hear.
The inequality on the digital ecosystem. How many of us got a phone in our pockets or around us? Raise your hands, please. Okay, you might want to hear this. How many people is aware of AI today? A lot of people. How many people has uploaded their photos to get those business photos, or they upload their pictures and try to get like an AI image? Has anybody done that here? Let me just say that if you read the copyrights and that's associated with that, people is literally buying your likeness right now.
Mm-hmm. And when I threw it up online, I definitely seen some dope comments and people saying we got to protect this guy. So I wanted you to be able to elaborate and talk to the people and, give them a little bit of insight of who you are, where you come from, your mindset, and, really let them understand what, information you have to bring for them that, is very important and pertinent to helping them in the success of their life in this time period. So, I want you to introduce yourself, my brother.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Everybody called me Haiti since high school. Anybody that find out I'm Haitian, like, they don't even call you by your name no more. They're gonna call you Haitian, Lil Haitian, Haiti, and I just accepted it. But not to go deep into that, but the main thing is, like, I'm from a third world, like, I'm an alien, and I've accepted that, and I'm born to be different, and I'm destined to leave my mark like a $2 bill. Like, you're gonna have traces of me everywhere because it's like synchronicity is something big to me. I come from a world where, like, we do a lot of things together. We bathe together. We make music together. We go to church together. And it gets deep. It gets deep to, like, how even traveling and making it over here, what is called the land of opportunity, to why I am who I am today, because, like, I've tried so many different angles in life to say that, hey, I'm gonna get my family out the trenches. It's different. Like, it's different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where you got the clay, you got the metal of your house, you got every rock your house is made out of, and being able to take care of that in that environment, it's heavy. Like, Haiti is a very rugged place, and I haven't been there as much as I can be, but all the work that I do here translate back over there. And so I wanted to embody that name way much bigger because it was a joke, but I took it serious. When I go to Haiti, they call me American, blunt. Like, they don't even call me Haitian. Like, I'm not Haitian in my own country. So I was like, all right, two could play that game. I'm coming back. Everybody got to call me Lil Haiti. Messed them up with that one. So every time I went back over there, they was like, okay. Because it was already calling me Haiti in school. So I was like, that's going to be my name, because nobody really represent Haiti. They get behind and use the Haitian brand and start doing stuff in the Haitian name. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm Haitian. Nah. But there's a power behind it, and to invest in community is the best thing that I took from Haiti. And being in Atlanta, it couldn't be more prevalent for me to interconnect with people. But technology is our medium. So for me, I've always connected with certain things: math, music, health, even playing sports. But throughout my life, like I said, I tried many different things, and I could see my future ending it. So, I was a CNA, EKG technician. What else? Worked in labor and delivery, Georgia War Veterans Home. I did a lot, but I was like, you know what? This $14, and then investing in more intellectual, paying for classes, more books and training. I can't keep up with this. My family's not paying for this. My mom is in Haiti, and she need money every day, and like bills. I was like, all right, bet. So I got to invest something I can manifest with. So while I was in school, going to Alabama State, I picked up a minor. I was like, I'm gonna pick up music technology. I didn't know how serious. I'm just thinking I'm gonna learn to make beats. That was my whole destination. Like, I want to be like Zaytoven, Metro. Work in the film industry, and make music for the whole world, and like really like leave like as a producer. To now being an artist, like the whole destination of understanding like our whole world is made in this communication major. But I was just taking a minor in music technology. Like everything from down to demographics, to statistics and analyze on people, to anybody's a government that deal with it. You have to use communication. And music always been a big thing for me, since my dad, not say forced me, but he instilled us to have one instrument. And I chose violin since the 4th grade. Like every day after school practice, going it was on and on until like it beat in my head, like I was musically inclined, reading notes. And now I was like, okay, bet, what am I gonna do with it? They teach you how to play covers, they teach you the singular elements, but they don't show you how to connect with it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put it down for now, go to school and try to make some more money with it. But the flip happened when I changed one person's life with my destiny, like, like just taking that path, like in school every day, having my laptop, and then when I get bored, instead of playing video games, I would make beats, So learning a trade, I started investing internally in myself. So it got down to where I had one classmate, I didn't even see his life changing like that. He blew up on a TikTok, joking on a bus and making comics about like, jokes. And next thing I know, like drops out of college and he becomes like one of the biggest artists out of Alabama. I was like, oh my God, that's my friend. I bet I gotta tap in with him. So destiny linked us again from college to the studio. I might have made him like 2 beats. I left him on somebody's computer. Next thing I know, 300 is in contact with me, 300 Music Entertainment. Just from my bedroom, I didn't know this was possible. Getting placements on like major labels, 2 albums, getting a feature with Stunner for Vegas. We're just sending 2 beats. They traveled millions of miles from North Carolina to here for a feature. I was like, yo, all right, I got some industry placements. And I was like, you know what? Let me take this serious. Moved to Atlanta in 2019, and I took it as a joke first, just, I was like, I'm gonna meet some people and just take my time. Going back and forth from Birmingham to Alabama, from Birmingham, Alabama to Atlanta. All right, I was like, I like it. Bet. I met some people I liked, I'm gonna link up with, and they know like they had connections with like, They was around Cleveland Avenue and Jonesboro area. I didn't know who they had connections with till later they opened up to me. And just having it where like, I was like, okay, like this world is small when you start talking music, because not a lot of people is able to translate thoughts into music, because they could play as many instruments as they can, but like when you start writing your own music and being connected with it, having the rhythm and the feeling, that is something I had to even get myself. Like for now, I've been doing it for 10 years, but when I first moved 2019, it might have been maybe 5-6 years of me just professionally producing for myself, not orchestrating or like, you know what I'm saying, being part of some orchestra. So, like, when I realized that music is that influential, how you feel can translate, and then somebody could take that feeling and change their whole dynamic of their life, getting signed for $400,000, whatever money they touch. But it's that simple, knowing that, like, okay, like connecting to an audience, translating the message, and having that technology and the people in place could be like, you know what I'm saying, like a tool. So I dug deeper. I was like, you know what else can I do with this medium? You know what I'm saying? Moving to Atlanta, like, I was like, okay, let me find a job. So I hit up a couple studios, and it was like, all right, bet, we're gonna look at your resume, and all right, we're gonna hit you up. Nobody hit me back. I was like, you know, so nobody really look at you for anything. So it was like, okay, let me try the internships. Nobody accepted me as an intern. So I was like, dang, my baby mama's telling me, like, hey, you gotta get a regular job. This is not gonna work like how you had it in Alabama. I was like, okay. Picked up back my camera, you know what I'm saying, taking photos, Ubering and whatever. A couple of my friends was like, just come to the studio with us. Met them on Cleveland Avenue. It was an album release. Lil Haiti, it was Trapped on Cleveland 3. He had the whole tour bus outside in front of the gas station. Met him and clicked up quick. He was a very genuine human being. He was like, hell yeah, stop, come to the session. You make beats, woo, 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 woo. I was like, bet. I told my bros I linked me up with him. I appreciate that. From then, like, I met a series of his family. And for me having a driver license, don't take that for a disadvantage. Most of the people I was working with, like, that had $100,000 around their neck, didn't have driver license. No disrespect to them. But it was just like me being that convenient. That was my way to have access to a lot of, like, rooms. I was like, man, look at how God's working. The next thing I know, studio I'm going with, I'm just thinking it's day studio. It's actually being booked by Thug for like months. I didn't even see him. And he start showing up, and I was like, all right, they'll kick me out the room. And I was like, okay, bet. So this is what I'm capable of. If I make the right beats, I could get with the right people. But for the first 30 days, like, being consistent, this is what made me move to Atlanta, linking up after Lil Haiti. I was like, you know what? It's fun to get serious, like how I had it back in Alabama. So I'm in motion again. I bet. Started getting placements, like, you know, they listen to the beats, like, you know, getting the opportunity to place them, like, and they're like, no. First 30 days, I got all the beats I made. Like, they'll listen maybe like 5-10 minutes of my beats, like 2 seconds of them. Next, no. I could not get a placement. You know what I'm saying? Umfunk told me no about 3,000 times. Until I realized, like, let me sit back and watch Weezy play beats. Watch, you know what I'm saying, Taurus play beats. You know what I'm saying? Watch everybody else in the room playing beats and what kind of sounds they had. And I started noticing, like, these top producers have, like, live musicians. They have a very synergy with their production. Like, they'll sit with a sample for 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, instead of rushing this, like, I got these popcorn beats. Instead of rushing it, let me take my time and be serious around these professionals. Instead of treating them like I'm not serious, let me be serious. Literally 5 months later, it just so happened, like, I was such in a smooth ride. I was like, you know what? Let me start engineering, start focusing, and just, instead of playing beats, engineering, staying on the grind every day in the studio. I didn't even get paid for most of the work I was doing. It was just like having that opportunity and not taking it granted. Not being around smoking weed, trying to get the hoes in the studio, like that luxury living. It was just to stay like, hey, I got a third world I'm always coming from. My mama need money. I can't be bullshitting. And I'm on Instagram and she watching my Instagram and I'm playing games. So my mindset was very stiff in those rooms. So any opportunity I had, I took it serious. If I want to be an engineer, I'm going to be the best engineer. If I'm going to be a producer, I'm going to be the most consistent producer. So I pushed back my production role, and I was like, you know what? Let's push this. Let's push this agenda, like, on getting better. So I started collabing with more people, learning more about, like, engineering, like, instruments. Shout out to Fazil Siad. Indian man that played a lot of bands, gold records all around Tree Sound, and he showed me the ropes of like making pop music, connecting like country music, cause I didn't make none of those genres like around then, but literally God works in mysterious ways, like being able to work from Young Thug, coming from a gas station, coming to Tree Sound, impressing the studio owner and all the managers. They be like, yeah, he's hard. We want him like come be an intern. All that corporate email, the same place I emailed, selected me off my spirit versus like application and all of that. So I was like, yo, shout out to Paul Diaz, or even like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, you come work in my studio, you know what I'm saying? Cause you know what I'm saying? You're very talented, you can grow. But I took all those grounding situations, not to put my ego, I didn't make no beats with them, but it was just learning from people. And I absorbed all that energy. And in 6 months, the one day that Sony came to the studio, literally, God worked in mysterious ways. The one day that Sony came in the studio, they were looking to like, during COVID, 2019 now, pay attention. Like, they were looking to sign producers, move to Atlanta because LA was shutting down. Sony was never in Atlanta. So they had a series of just signing anybody that was fired. So if you was in the presence, you was hard, you got an opportunity, they're gonna sign you, basically. But I knew I had to make it serious. But that intervention with I couldn't make it on Thug scale, and I just kept playing beats, made me know like, all right, bet anybody I play beats for now has got to play one beat and make a hit. So Mike Jackson was the vice president at Sony at the time. He walks through the front door with Fazil, you know what I'm saying, and sees Young Thug pass by the door, see Foom, see everybody. And at the time, since I came early, the engineers and the producers wasn't in the room yet. AJ and Baines, they wasn't in the room yet. I walk in the room, he's like, I know everybody that just passed, who's that guy? And so they called me back outside. It's like, somebody want to know who you is real quick. And I was like, okay, who is he? It's like, this is the vice president of Sony, Mike Jack. I was like, oh yeah? He was like, yeah, man, we was looking at Tree Sound because we might start, you know, doing our publishing house in here. But unfortunately, they didn't pick that studio, but they picked another studio. But even having that one opportunity for them to come see Tree Sound, for me to meet them, they were like, all right, we're gonna give you an interview. You know what I'm saying? But I had played one beat for him, and he listened to it. He was like, yeah, that's hard, but I want to hear some more. But when you realize like certain times and you align for it, and to sum all that up, you just gotta have faith in what you're doing and having power. Cause I was raised in the church, and the first 2 lessons I learned, like when Jesus' first 2 people he really was very close to was Peter and Andrew, were 2 brothers that was very close, and they worked, the fishermen of life. They had courage and faith walking on that water. You know what I'm saying? Like one didn't get out the boat because he didn't have courage, and then one did get out and he had a little faith. But everything I do and move with in life, I don't see reward in it, but I have faith that it's gonna prosper. And I'm transitioning my life like where it's 2024, and from being signed to Sony, did a 3-year contract with them, being able to do film, everything that I wanted to do in Atlanta, and being able to do it in 6 months of coming here. That's blessings from God, staying pure in your energy, fighting with conviction, and like staying serious and living this American dream that, you know, is full of stress, full of heartache, full of bills, and you know what I'm saying, and like you don't see your reward. But being an entrepreneur in this music industry, like it's one of the most beautiful journeys, because if you stay consistent in it, you can see the changes that you leaving along the way. And now we here at NDSTRY where it's like, yo, I'm a seasoned producer. Like any project that we're doing, like I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm being able to narrate, you know what I'm saying? But all this to say that that's me, but now how I'm growing to everybody, you know what I'm saying, is spreading this knowledge through music, spreading the other backgrounds that I have with technology, you know what I'm saying, incorporating it with health, because, you know what I'm saying, I'm collabing with Rayo Inc. She do sound healing, and Nova Network. They do like a lot of like therapeutic, and they all licensed too, like practitioners in their field. Now I'm like the people that's at disadvantages in the world, and they could align with like all the aesthetics that I've been building along the way and investing in myself. Cause it's time. Like I feel it. It's time. I feel everything, and now the time that I've been aligning with is understanding like why I've been seeing some parts and fragments of like technology building to now why I have to invest more into technology. And because it's not just music technology, it's communication overall. And I'm a history nerd, so I like to go back and study like, the flaws of certain things. And I was studying Byron Allen, for example, and he owns the Weather Channel. He used to own the ETV network, but he used to allow a lot of people to have a lot of positive messages, a lot of like, networks for the community, enrichment news. But now it's like the cable networks is playing Monopoly with the satellites and the fundings and all of that. It costs $50,000 to even have a cable satellite registered, and that's a big line. So what I realized that his experience was something that him and Bill Cosby was working on, to align to fix an agenda for our communication. That was my first person I've ever seen talk about communication like throughout the nation, throughout the ecosystem, throughout the civil rights. But his mission didn't fall short. Obama was part of like a lot of the work that he did, and he was able to pass a bill that dug deeper, was called the Net Neutrality Act, which allowed like broadband internet, and all of essential services, software, application, to be an essential service to the community, just like health is an essential service. So we have to treat it like, okay, this is our tool of life. This is how the government bodies is being governed. The experts versus the people is being able to like communicate that streamline information for whatever source it is, but that's not defined right now. And my whole agenda is all the technology inventors, all the ideologies behind technology, they would have a place to go to be like, hey, my change for my water machine could change this ecosystem. I have a place to go to it because I know it's gonna be funded, it's gonna be protected, and I have like all the necessary, just very similar to how a farmer association is. That's a necessity food. That's an essential. So they have respected funds for people to like allocate, whatever stream of information they want for their community, So I realized that there's been counter agents, like hidden agendas that haven't been like put on surfaces, but been able to discredit a lot of like the areas that we would be able to grow. And it's not due because they're doing it on purpose. It's because the source of what they need is derived from consumerism. So for them to connect with us, they have to have a consumerism mindset. And versus when we want to connect with them, we have a citizen mindset. So that's been studied for the last 200 years. And I know this whole time I haven't pulled out a notebook, but it's like when I start naming certain people in certain places, I definitely want to have like a systematic way of like describing it, because like when you start seeing certain agendas and certain mindset, you start noticing the era we was in. So let's go back. I'm coming from a third world country. Why does it make sense here? I was able to see the difference. I grew up without technology in Haiti. I didn't see electricity. Like, there was no running water in my house. The mosquitoes flew through the cracks of the house, tin roof. When there was a leak, we felt it. You know what I'm saying? We felt everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mosquito nets wrapped around the bed, like, it was just different. So, like the little nuances in life don't bother me. Like the little things that most people go through, cutting electricity bill, no phone, all of that. That don't bother me. I grew up without all of that. So that mindset, I was able to see the differences and how certain communities suffered versus where Haiti, if they had that, they would prosper. Like, if they had call center home jobs with headphones and a little $100 laptops, I promise you, they will not leave their job. Versus the baby mama that just do it and don't leave, and then like, you know what I'm saying, because it's necessary for her to be at home and it's convenient for them. Versus somebody that would need this job. It's a want versus need in certain places. So that communication line, because I think last time I looked at the statistics, most of the jobs during COVID was hybrid, and all of them required a laptop and a headset and video communication. So like, all the essential jobs were, guess what? On technology. School, health, doctor's appointments, all of that, technology. They was able to do it with technology. So now it's like, okay, we see how technologies is incorporated with essential services. Now let's see how the bureaucracy knew about this and how they was able to be like, okay, let's sell this information to certain people and certain companies, because back then, all this I'm talking about, all this mindset and evolution of thinking broke down into where we was in the physical state, where we was actually in bondage, our hands, all the information was like required for like all the alchemy of the world required with their hands, people that knew how to do woodcraft, people that knew how to melt metals, people that knew how to make gunpowder, and people that knew how to make buildings, the whole White House, all the astrological thinkers, all the mathematicians, they actually needed their hands. That was the most important tool. Now, all those fundamental structures is moving from all those buildings they built to like organizing people. They knew about this because of who they had invested in, and you'll see the certain families, certain people to school. And why would they invest in sociology? Why would they invest in psychology in 1830, 1860? Like, Civil War just ended, like they got the cotton gin, they got all this. Why are they investing in sociology? Wow. And then I realized that it wasn't just this country, it was overseas, investing in psychology and sociology, because they were trying to move the power from physical power to psychological power. And a good brother, Jalen Brown, covered this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I gotta do 200 push-ups, by the way, for that. I had Dallas winning. But a good brother broke it down where like, he brought up a theory from Foucault, Michel Foucault. Well, he was breaking down how to control the people into, let me break it down and make sure I said it right. Foucault ideology was to break down people, and his contrast was discipline and power. And he had the Marxism ideology, where it was maximum social control. This is who Hitler was studying. This is who all the bureaucrats were studying, because their books was creating like ideologies and breaking down like all the way of thinking within an organization. Well, that was not just him, but there was a whole age of thinking where people was breaking down more things, because his transition, which later led to power versus knowledge and liberty, where almost governments was breaking down to like, how do we contain power? How do we have like an organized system? How do we have a norm? Because if we can have a norm where everybody have to have a flag, where everybody have to have a certain dress code, where everybody, all of that is why the military went from like the Civil War military to the current military that we had today, to like people's uniform. It's more structured, it's more defined, it's because all of those people started thinking about where psychologically affected all agencies. So the next person which evolved down that chain line was Elton Mayo, where he broke down environment control. So how do you control the environment? and they use motivation. So he studied like how motivation was influencing certain community. So certain hospitals was participating in this, certain psych world. You'd be like, okay, these are big bodies of people all experimenting on people to see how people connect. And the whole time, all these jobs that we working for and leading to work for already knew how to control us to work in those fields. In the 19th century, by the way. So it goes down to even deeper. Max Weber, where he broke down government study and sociology, where rationalizing intelligence what equates to like the value system. And I wanted to name them because I have my own ideology on how we can counteract that. Because for me to have a company, I gotta know my playing field. I gotta know how I gotta be able to connect with people. Yeah, shout out to eBay, he's in the background, y'all hear him. So the main thing I was looking at was how information versus resource. Information versus resource was the whole thing in the 19th century, because if you had gold, you were rich. If you had all the scholars over here building the buildings, you was rich. But what it created was scarcity and value, so it made people move to the inner cities. It made people travel to certain places and created more like unionized and localized people. You know what I'm saying? It created certain environments, so they understood that. But over time, it's been changing. Not only that factor they've been gauging, but how time versus implementation breaks it down. We don't have enough time because, thank God for AI, you know, like now we have time where a machine can learn certain things for us and be able to implement it. But for the longest, it was a rat race. Do you have time to go, for me, to be a doctor and wait 10 years to feed my mom? Or you know, or you can go here and sell a beat for $300 or $250, you know what I'm saying, and then consistently work and as an engineer. So my whole point is like creating those lanes where you mentioned like I was a school teacher, you know what I'm saying? Like all this, I stopped making music last year because, you know what I'm saying, taking a break from my contract with Sony. I was like, you know, I want to be regular again, just enjoy making music for me and not just for other people. So like, you know, like being a school teacher, I was able to not think about music, not bring my equipment with me. And I was able to see like how the environment is. Like, yo, 11 and 12th graders not reading. And the teaching mechanism that they using, like for example in Georgia, they got a program called IXL where they give to homeschool kids. How about schools is teaching, when you have a substitute teacher, they just put you on that homeschool program. And there's no management for that. And it's like, hey, it's on you now. And I broke that down. To gauge it, you have to realize if information is being given, either is with you or for you. If you take the responsibility and accountability for the information to put it on somebody else, they say, hey, you failed on your own. You know what I'm saying? They didn't take the time to go and do their assignment. And that's where we're looking at the difference between teaching and instructing. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of the time, people instruct information versus teach it. Where it be like, okay, there was understanding. He came out with more wisdom. Because the definition for wisdom for me is not a amount of knowledge. It's like how in depth your questions can get for me to relate to it. Yeah. So like, and we defining it where like for me, I speak multiple languages. And for me to even to speak in that mindset to another culture, I got to be able to speak without books. I got to speak without information and speak with a relationship. And like in these fields that we in, you answer that? Yeah, you can answer it. In this field that we in, I found out like there's not a lot of relationship of information, and it takes down to like those people that relate to people. Like for me, I love relating to people. I'm a Virgo. I always try to find a detailed way of like, hey, like how do we communicate, make things better? And when it comes down to like technology, I have a vision The first two things that I'm working with is a large learning machine for school to teach kids. And then after that, it's having more awareness on technology and expanding that to communities like Haiti and locally and here in Atlanta, where we're going to be able to teach people programs like music. We're going to be able to teach people programs like coding. Be like, hey, now you're 7 years old, you can be able to make a $700,000 project if you know how to do graphic design and get AI to do the back end coding for you. We're just connecting dots where like we're making the modern day Mega Mans out here. Like that's where it starts with the kids, cause like that's the next generation. And they need to be, you know what I'm saying, instead of surveillance by the government and, you know what I'm saying, waiting for them to get in trouble. We need to have our own system, you know what I'm saying, our own agenda and our own narration with technology, and be able to have a place where parents can be like, hey, a city council, yo, we need funding and we need to have this agenda to protect these apps. Cause hey, we just had a child was being harassed on Discord and was being hacked by a pedophile. You know what I'm saying? So things like that, like that's real life. That's a real story I'm telling you. It's not made up. These are real situations that exist now. Or for example, or you have a child where you know that you have to wear blue screen glasses, but in school they don't tell you to bring blue screen glasses. They looking at the screen and they teaching us 90% hybrid, and they on the computer screen and they losing the connectivity with the information because they being forced to be driven by a machine they're not intuitive with. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I feel like once we make that connection and more people become more cyborgs, because like we can't remove technology. It's like our parents telling us like, hey, we don't need Facebook back in 2005. Now they're all on Facebook. Mm-hmm. You know? But the thing is, where it's like, for me, it's a civil rights issue. I look back at Dr. King, how he used technology throughout his campaign, and it was with the church. Every church had something called the Watts line, WATTS. It wasn't big to most people because nobody could afford it, first of all. But he made sure every church had one. So if anything happened to a city and we needed to communicate with Birmingham because they burning down a church or bombing down, or they bombing Fort Groves and locking them in a basement and they bombing a church, all of that information, all of that have to be communicated. And the Watts line was an analog system which was able for people to communicate long distance across the nation to all the churches. And now it's like where we at with it, and we're seeing it where we don't have no one system to communicate. Social media is not made for us. Regular media is not being controlled by us. It's been proven in court. Like Byron Allen sued Comcast. They Xfinity now. Mm-hmm. Like they're Xfinity for a reason. They didn't just decide to make their name sound cooler. No, they got changed. Warner Chappell, all of them got sued because all those media companies was not, hey, if communication, broadband services is essential information, all of that you sending out is an essential service, you got to make sure it's properly sent to minority communities, for that community, and by that community. That's the biggest thing. And having those networks where we have people that have real voices, real conviction, and a real change. That I want to be like, hey, I could change with sound healing. I could change with my music. I could change with my videographing and storytelling. And then be like, hey, I could connect and have those webs and hubs and having those diversitized communities where people don't have to go to school, you know what I'm saying, or learn like computer information. They could just learn a bits of it and be able to build their life. Hey, in steps, but like 10 years old, I got this certification. 12 years old, I got this certification. And the whole time, by the time they get to college, they super cyborgs. That's where I feel like the evolution that we're changing and organization that we need, it has to be with technology. And we have to be able to have technology where the accountability is not on the program. It's on peer-to-peer interaction. It's not like, hey, you go see the program. No, go see me within this world, and let's virtualize and where we connect with people. I don't want to leave anything that I prepared for you, but I know it's been a lot that I've said. The main thing is, like, coming to America, I know it's hard for me to make changes in Haiti, and I had to really gauge in a field that I know, like, hey, I could go here and change. Cause I wanted to be a doctor bad. You know what I'm saying? I fought tooth and nail. I bought all the MCAT books. Them books are expensive, $600 a piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are not cheap books, and there's no programs to sponsor that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like when you realize all your studies and like it gotta lead somewhere, and if you invest all that time, it can't go nowhere because you failed a test. It really hits you hard. Like, versus like where you could start working in increments. Like with music technology, for me, I started working in small pieces where I made one beat, did this, next beat took me here, next here, and like all the skills that I was able to build from making beats to recording to now being able to operate a whole analog board, digital board, see able to work with like video communication through Ethernet, like, you know what I'm saying? I could connect technology, connect all that for you to connect and speak through it and have it long distance. You understand broadband and like the responsibility it takes and the power that it have to be able, like, I could change people's life, like connecting people with these resources. That's all open source, by the way, and we just have to build up on it. You know what I'm saying? All technology starts from an open source, and we just have to really sit down and say that I have an empirical mindset to really build and really change something, and I know it's gonna have definition and everlasting. Man, that's pretty much it, man. Really on the digital, the inequality on the digital ecosystem, man. Like, that's the mindset. That's what I have for now, because like I said, it's just a journey. It's very passionate for me, and it's related to me because it's been through my experience, and I've been collecting these notes for years, and I hope to plan to release like more books. I just wrote a book on the whole breakdown on the music industry to connect like every agency, every technology that you have to communicate with to have a full, you know what I'm saying, full profile as an artist. So you don't depend on no label to come tell you that, hey, this is what you're missing. You know what I'm saying? And have your business where like you can go get a business loan and fund your whole career. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever dreams are gonna be more possible in the land of opportunity, because technology is gonna be able to make it where like, hey, as long as you're more accountable for what you're doing and you have a direction and you could see your future, and it don't depend on the heavy bridges. You take this step, then you gotta cross this waterfall, and then you gotta come across and impress 10 different professors at these universities. I can't play the draconian games, and I don't think nobody should. And like, those ladders like put a lot of toll on people. People get suicidal, like people lose their head and stop manifesting. Like, that's why I say thank God for music for me, because I had a way out from college. Like, a lot of kids go to college and don't have a way out after they figure out like something didn't work, like a backup plan. Like, that was one thing my parents told me, you always gotta have a backup plan. And I'm glad I had that. You know, I made that choice to be like, you know what I'm saying, on my own too. I'm gonna take music technology, and I've been surviving, and I'm leaving that survival mode because now I'm able to grow and spiral all of that and ascend to something, because I'm having more connections with what I'm doing. Yeah, man.
No, definitely well put together. I wanted to ask you, like, as far as like when it comes to the digital technology and technology in itself, what is it like presents itself right now that you're able to use or apply right now?
Right now,
For somebody watching and it's like, oh, you know.
right now I'm speaking through like the equipment that I use. Like, I have a whole course laid down to show that, like, yo, you could speak with all the equipment, like Radio Shack, all your speakers, to your community, like to like the people that you work with. All of them can speak together like to make music, to make messages, to do poetry. Anybody that have a creativity, like I'm showing them how to draw digitally, and from any program, Luna, Pro Tools, any DAW, name it, I'll be able to show you how to translate your thoughts, how to translate your music, and show you the codes and all the loopholes, all the cheat sheets. It's not gonna take months, cause I've experimented with other people that like didn't produce, and I was able to help them produce in 3 days. So like on their own, like, hey, go with your own computer and tell me what you came back with, and they're making like hits, like they're making powerful beats, and they're on my album. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm able to see like, okay, this is not as, you know what I'm saying, as less of a power as people think. Like, it's definitely in reach. So after music, it's the first company that I'm collabing with is this water company that needs to locally deliver water. I'm integrating an app for them where like people will be able to like get the water at local places and deliver the app where like people can come and do courier services and transport and do intrastate services. So we'll be able to have water, spring water, you know, of course, locally, you know, have access to like the Milkman. You know what I'm saying? That's a local app for the community. It's in works, because my cousin, he codes for cruises, he codes for hospitals, and he's able to like connect with me on some of these projects. And we speak in a like digital language to have like certain people in the community that have real good agendas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Cedar Farm, like be able to be like, hey, now you can have this. Instead of everybody having to go 200 miles outside of Atlanta to get some spring water, or I think it's Indian Spring now, I found out. It's another spring, but it's rare that we have access to like natural resources, let alone good information for the community. Cause I've seen kids that couldn't read and write, and I know they only gonna have a couple options, like a factory job, McDonald's, Uber, Lyft, you know what I'm saying? And that max out like $20. Like Atlanta, you're gonna need way more than $20 an hour to live here. I promise you that. You're gonna be a full-time slave. And like, that's the whole construct. And we need to loop out of that by realizing that all these companies have these consumerism mindset, and we need to just have an agenda for ourselves.
Musically, I seen, you know, you said you worked with a lot of different people and things like that, and you know, I know you just connected with a different producer recently, working on different projects. What's that been like for you, working with so many different artists, producers, and the sounds that you've been working with, or working on?
I realize it's time and space. The last project I did that's released actually was a couple of weeks ago with Boosie. We did like 6 weeks ago. We did a blues album. It's very experimental, Southern soul, beautiful music. Mr. Fix It out right now, streaming on all platforms. You can check it out. It's a family music. So from age 0 to wherever, infinity, you're gonna be able to love it and grind with it. More prevalent. I've been working with, like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of more underground artists, like, you know what I'm saying, like Rayo Kali, Tasia, you know what I'm saying. I had Baba Soul in here the other day, you know what I'm saying. I've been collabing with E-Bass, my brother. We working on an album with Blue. He have the Blue Raven. More meditation music. We did one with Rayo Kali. Beautiful. 7 tracks, 42 minutes with each chakra. It's just like I feel like my purpose, cause like studying, like, you know, my idol, one of my idols was Kanye. Is. And studying like how the mind works and like the certain time of everything. Like right now, like the top of my cranium, you know what I'm saying, it hasn't closed yet. You know what I'm saying? Hasn't, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm still getting a very divine inspiration. Like Pharrell said, music comes from the higher source. So I don't force it. I literally flow with music. Like, it's been very beautiful, and I'm finding more people that like I don't have no blockage with. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to like very express myself, and for them to make them meet up on a meeting and be like, "Yo, I want to keep making music again," and that's been my drive. Like finding like instead of like doing the corporate work, like I said, I did 3 years of corporate work, and I've met a lot of people. Like I don't even want to start naming people because like that don't really matter to me no more. What really mattered to me is like they want to have bodies of work, and like that could translate to like, hey, my kids, you know what I'm saying? Be like, hey, y'all could celebrate this. You know what I'm saying? My family. You know, those are the real gems. And then having people like celebrating with you, that's the real celebrities. So I don't want fans. I want like my family celebrating. So just finding those tools in the median. I'm growing as a family with music. So like I'm doing very specific tasks, you know what I'm saying, like very specific roles. I still do a lot of corporate work, like, you know what I'm saying, shout out to Penny. She be having me in like a lot of writing sessions, engineering, like, you know, we doing a whole Afro piano tape, you know what I'm saying. But pretty much, man, like I'm in my grind, man. I'm in my heat. I'm hot. Like I feel everything fluid. Like I can't miss right now. And it's gonna be a lot to speak on in these later months, man. I've been putting in a lot of work these last years. I'm glad I didn't quit.
See, listen, man, don't stop. Keep working. Where could the fans follow you and, you know, stay tuned into the journey?
We tapping into IET where we dropping the Minority Report, you know what I'm saying? The Minority Report, we're gonna talk about, you know what I'm saying, the justice and politics in Haiti and technology, you know what I'm saying? Information Exchange Technology is the company that we'll be working with and collabing with. And on Instagram, you also got the Real Lil Haiti, TheLuh, you know what I'm saying? So follow the Real Lil Haiti page too. It's growing. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm realizing, like, I'm glad you stopped me and asked me about something. And I'm realizing I want to leave everybody with this one quote. We are each other's harvest. You know what I'm saying? We doing fruitful gardens, you know what I'm saying, and we can reach out in arms and feed each other, you know what I'm saying? So we're not vulture cultures, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not taking the culture and running off with it. We're really leaving messages, really leaving gems, so the next generation be able to change their next life and the next life after. And, man, like I said, I'm bringing everything I'm doing in America, I'm taking it to Haiti, man. So that's why, you know what I'm saying, I'm very engraved and very moving in conviction. Like, it's going to be beautiful, bro. Like, it's very defined, and I trust God is going to take care of my imagination and my vision to instill it. And just moving right within my own spirit and being aware, you know what I'm saying, having the guides, you know what I'm saying, the elders, you know what I'm saying, good consult. Like, you always got to have that ecosystem, bro. And I'm glad I'm being planted in a place where, like, you know what I'm saying, with people around me, it's so beautiful minded. It's like, it's elevation where, like, make me more elevated, you know. You speak that, King, I want to speak like that too, King. Like, and finding role models in these days is very, like, appreciated, man. Like, and I want to be that example. That's why it's pushing me, having those people around me. Now we're like, it's not just music. It's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I told my girl this, like, I always have a vision of being a pastor. Like, I don't know when, but just I want to have it where, like, people connect with me and I change them, like, and do some real life works for them, like, because I notice details. That's the gift that God gives me, man. Through everything that I do, I notice details. I'm able to take detail and formulate a destination to it. So just know what your purpose is, man, and apply it, bro. So that's the main thing that I found myself keep overly doing and instilling. And And the other thing I want to leave with people is knowing that our generation to come falls with good leadership. Just ask for any room, you know what I'm saying? If you need engineering, if you need podcast work, I work here at NDSTRY, you know. And if you do need also like camera work, I partner with a lot of cameras and a lot of companies. We do film and like, you know what I'm saying, syncs. And also, let's see, we having a lot of writing camps too, so tap in with me, more proud. DM her, tap into NDSTRY ATL, DM them, and you could book here and like, you know, ask for me, and you know, they have me in a room working with you. Also that like the projects that we be having releasing soon, we have Uncut Gems with Young Money and Brill Lightyear, my bro. Happy birthday to him. It's his birthday today. What else before I leave? We have another project with Rayo and me. We got the meditation with me, Rayo and Blue. We have another one with me, Brill, and Rayo. I mean, we got a lot of projects. We shooting music videos overseas. So October, expect the 80s for Hades project. Expect the meditation project. We're doing a whole 80s theme. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're raising $80,000 for Haiti. We collabing with Dr. Bertu. She's building canals out there. We're collabing with IET to build the learning management system with the education, be able to teach people and have the whole system where like Khan Academy similar, but have like a whole new revolutionized version of it where we can have alchemy, all works. You can go melt metals. Like, you can apply some of this stuff today. It's implementation. So that's the time we in, and how to know and to apply this information. And bro, like, I'm loving the works that we building. It's manifested. It's coming. Love y'all, man. Ukone bagay, man. IET. Bagay share, yeah.
Let's get it, Lil Haiti. We here.